Welcome into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller,
And my name is Brett Parnell.
and let's dive in. So, do you want to tell the people what we have this week?
Yeah, we are doing our first podcast on an international season of Survivor. It's time to go to a land down under, and let's talk about Survivor Australia versus the world.
Yes, this was week one. We have three episodes we're recapping. Won't be quite as in depth as our US Survivor recaps because it's so long, but we're going to have some fun.
Yeah, it should be really fun.
Even though I kind of hate the boot order so far.
I like it.
I was fine with the first one. The second and third episodes were like two of my top five favorites on the season.
Fair.
And I'm like, they were my two favorites on the Australian tribe, probably. So
Makes sense.
I'm, yeah, that sucked losing David and George.
It does.
I was
They
gonna
were
say spoiler alert, but people probably aren't listening to
if
the show
you're
if they.
watching a podcast called The Recap of Survivor Australia versus the World and you haven't watched Survivor Australia versus the World yet, it's your own damn fault.
I did get spoiled on George going because he posted about it on Twitter. And they're ahead of us in time, and I hadn't got a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, that's hard.
I've
That's the
also learned
one.
to stay off of Twitter. I mean, I know it was Survivor, but Big Brother too, because
Yeah,
comps don't happen on the nights they show it on the episode. So if I don't,
except for the blockbuster.
yeah, if I'm not like avoiding certain pages, then I'll find out who won HOH or veto, or if veto got used.
I mean, hey, it's even harder for us challenge fans.
Yeah. So, and like at least this week, like I knew the answer of whether veto got used or not, but a lot more went into that I didn't know about. So that was still a pretty fun episode.
I
But I
see.
generally try to avoid spoilers.
Makes sense.
Twitter's an awful place to avoid reality TV spoilers, though.
But it was an awful place, period.
Well, it can be fun sometimes.
Fair enough. I hate it.
Yeah. You used
Either
to be
way.
on it.
Oh, I used to be on it. I deleted it.
Yeah, I know. So do you want to lead us through these recaps?
Sure. So, the first opening scene we get, starting with the Australian tribe, them all coming out in different ways. Shotty on the runway, Luke hidden in luggage. Yet we get the seven Australians in the back of a van with the Australian flags running down the international airport in Samoa.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts, Bruce, on, say, let's start with the Australians, this overall cast for a group?
Just fantastic. Luke and
Yeah,
David I watched play together on I guess season four, the second champions versus contenders. David comes back for season five All Stars, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen Shawnee's first two seasons, but I loved her on Heroes versus Villains.
yeah.
I've seen all of both of George's previous seasons. I love him. This is just a stacked group here, and I
And
like
it,
her so far. I didn't haven't seen her before we did our cast analysis, but she's really fun.
yeah, absolutely.
Same with Kirby.
Yeah, they're both great, even though you're right, I haven't seen either one either. Um, on both sides, it's a completely stacked cast. I mean, that's what I think is the one thing that I don't mind about this boot order, and we'll obviously get into that later, is that no matter who goes home, a legend of the nation survivor goes home.
Yeah,
So we're gonna get great boots all the way through. I mean, as far as having a season where you can just really say there's no weak player, is this like second to Winners at War in terms of just watching a legend go home pretty much every single week?
it might be ahead of Winners at War because even Winners at War had like a Denise or an Adam.
who in my mind are still massive players, but
they're winners, but they aren't like this is like the Parvati and Tony of all of these
yeah.
countries. Like Winners
But
at
I
War has
mean,
some
this
people like an Adam or a Denise or even a Ben that just aren't on the level of these people.
you just want to get a text from Kevin.
I'm gonna get that anyway, but Ben and David Gannett, or I can't speak to like half the world tribe, but Parvati, Tony, Suri. Ben has won and Suri hasn't, so I'll point that out. But to be fair, but there's just people. I'd say this might be the biggest one. Maybe
Yeah, fair enough.
Bill,
but it's certainly bigger than
a Sugar or a Randy.
It's certainly bigger than a Heroes versus Villains or a Game Changers or an All Stars.
Game Changers is not on that same level. Don't mention.
I know, but it's a returning player of the season.
Yeah. But no, I'd say it might be the biggest because they're bringing like the top tier from every country. America hasn't done that.
Yeah, absolutely. So then moving on, every country, I'm going to clarify this right now because Australian players have said it wrong. Every country or every province. Let's move on from there. Every time I hear Luke say they've brought the best from every country, a whole nation of 40 million people just north of the border from you guys cringes.
Yeah.
But next, we get
does Quebec cringe also when the Aussies call it a country?
The vast majority of them, yes. Not everyone. That is a long political history. You can watch countless documentaries on it on CBC or TVA or Radio Canada. That we will not get into Canadian politics here. I wrote a whole university paper on this. I took a whole 12-week course on Quebec politics.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it was actually one of the best courses I took in university. But moving on, we then get the World Tribe, and instead of 7 players that are proud to play for Australia, we now have a little bit of contrast here because it's a lot easier to be an Australian tribe that's unified versus the world. So you get this contrast between players that is, say, from American Survivor, which understandably sees itself as the main voice of the franchise, and American Survivor is really what Survivor is.
Because America's the center of the world. Everything's always about us.
Yeah, that's true. We all know that.
I'm kidding, but...
but I mean, certainly... American Survivor is Survivor. Australian Survivor, South African Survivor, New Zealand Survivor, Finland Survivor, and Survivor Quebec have all formed out of the product that was American Survivor, with Richard Hatch winning $1 million back in the summer of 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So the World Tribe almost has this balance that they have to go to on those 3 Americans, those 4 others, but are those others unified to be an alliance of 4 automatically or not?
Yeah.
But I did find this great as a Canadian, that I was sitting watching Australian Survivor as they're rolling down that runway and seeing Parvati with the American flag and Rob with the South African flag and so on and so forth, and going like, when did I ever think I would see the provincial fleur-de-lis, not the Adam Idol fleur-de-lis, the actual flag of the province of Quebec, on an Australian television show? That got me laughing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Adam, we're going to get to him later.
Oh, we are? Nice.
Oh, of course we are.
Oh, I know why now. Okay.
But the first thing that we will go to is a challenge. And before we get to that challenge, Jonathan has the Australians already on their mat, and he calls out the internationals to come see who they're playing against and for the Australians to see who's representing the world. And we get some different responses. What's your thoughts about who reacts to what?
I thought it was interesting. People noticed Suri immediately.
Yep.
So
Sarah was jumping for joy with the word poverty coming out of her mouth uncontrollably.
I saw that. George is just George. His reactions to stuff are always entertaining.
And surprisingly, Kirby does not watch Survivor.
Yeah.
So she didn't even know who Poverty or Tony or Suri were.
To be fair, I they probably watch it in their own country, but until the past couple of years, no one here watched their Survivor either. So
That's true.
it's to me completely understandable that they're not watching our Survivor every season because it's a
I
different
see
country.
that, other than the fact that the Australian show and really all of these shows blossomed out of the American show, that I would have thought they would have at least known a bit about it. So it's interesting.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I guess there would be some people in these countries though who maybe weren't a Survivor fan until they started to see their own country show. So it does make sense.
Yeah, someone in a group chat we're in said that Shawnee also doesn't.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
because you compared Shawnee's dress to Michelle's Co-Wrong reunion dress, but Shawnee
Yeah,
wears the same dress every season she's on.
that's true. Well, I knew that. I just thought it might have been from her first season.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
intentional.
Oh,
Going back to when she first played.
yeah, that makes sense.
But
We got
no.
a Stevie reference from her this week, by the way.
Yeah, that was great.
Who, again, I haven't seen their first season, but based on Heroes versus Villains, I kind of like Stevie.
Oh, I love Stevie. He was on my fantasy
weird
team.
vendetta against Shawnee that he kept saying he's going to act on and never did. But I like Sneaky Stevie.
Yeah.
He got a Stevie reference.
The amount of players that we get references from in this editing so far from past seasons, be it Australian seasons or US seasons, at least so far, has been amazing.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of that, right after we start the challenge, and we get, like you said, we get a Stevie reference, we get another one when they're introducing the cast. We have an Eric Reichenbach reference.
To be fair, I got ahead of myself. The Stevie reference is in the third episode, but
okay,
because it's Shawnee saying, "I'm gonna go after George, but am I gonna actually act on it, or I'm gonna be like Stevie, who never did?"
But from the first episode, we get an Eric reference. Eric can never live this down.
Poor Eric.
I mean, Eric had to know the second he saw Parvati and Suri on the same cast, he probably looked at it and said, oh shit.
Yeah.
But.
Oh, definitely. But. I think
but
the biggest winner from Eric's thing, Eric making the dumbest move ever, was James.
Yeah. But we get that very famous line of Eric saying, I would like to give individual immunity to Natalie. And we've probably seen that clip over like 15 seasons now.
Yeah. And it cuts to James, who says, I'm not the dumbest survivor ever anymore.
And fast forwarding, I don't even think James is in the top 10 of going up to today.
No, but at the time,
oh, yeah.
Between 15 and 16, he was definitely number one.
Yeah, definitely. I just don't think people realized back at that time how difficult playing an idol correctly actually was.
Yes, but if you have two of them, you have one to spare.
Yeah, but if you have two of them and you go 2 more weeks, you go all the way to the final four.
And then you make fire.
That wasn't a thing back then.
Well, yes, but it is now.
Yes, it is now.
But, yeah. No, I laugh at it and I love the reference to old school Survivor. Those types of videos and flashbacks will always make me laugh. But I am also like, oh, poor Eric,
Yeah.
who then came
Um,
back again and still finished fifth, by the way.
that is true. So getting into the challenge, this is almost it's the same challenge, but this is almost a set of mini challenges because players are going to go head to head where you have to slide down a water slide, instantly transition to crawling under a tight small net, and then throw a beanbag to ring a bell, and the first person who does it wins reward. All 7 players get a chance to go, but there's 7 different rewards, and you get to choose your rewards. So both tribes are essentially choosing what they're going to start with camp.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I think we should do that over here.
Yeah, that was fun. And you, out of curiosity, Bruce, how would you rank these rewards?
What were they again?
Mystery box, Flint, uh, tarp, comfort, coffee, fresh fruit, and champagne.
Flint number one.
Hmm.
You
See, to me, I think that we'll just interchange. I think I'd go for a tarp number one.
I was going tarp too, but with
And I'd go Flint too.
fire, which is cooking and food and its warmth if it gets cold or
But if the other tribe gets the tarp, you are drenched the entire time.
yes, but you
At
can
least till
build a
merge.
shelter that has a roof on it. Tribes do it every season.
And the roofs always leak.
Yeah, but the one I'm taking last is the mystery box, though.
Uh,
I feel like that's pretty clearly just something that's meant to benefit one person.
yeah,
And I want to benefit the whole group here.
that's smart. And we
if
see that
anything
later.
else, I don't want someone else to get the box key and keep that knowledge away from me.
Yeah,
So I'm just not going to let anyone on my tribe have the box if I can help it.
makes sense.
So, tarp would be 2. Champagne also relatively low.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had it, so I don't know if I like it or not. But
I mean, you know me when it comes to wine, and I'd still put it pretty low.
well, it's not wine though.
Champagne is wine. It's just sparkling wine.
Oh, it is.
It's effectively wine. It's
Oh, I
just
didn't
wine
know
that
that. I
has
thought it was
carbon
its own
dioxide
thing.
added to it. No,
I just know it's like considered one of the fancier alcohol drinks, and it's what teams celebrate with when they win titles.
that it is. And you
With
have to pay a ton of money for it on a cruise.
Nice. Well, I haven't been on a cruise. Somebody that
Fair enough.
a lot of them hasn't taken me with him on one.
What? You'll have
kidding.
to come on the Survivor cruise with me sometime.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
but
It looked like Sandra and Carolyn and Todd and Michelle and Hatch all had a really good time.
yeah.
And everyone else who went with them.
So, what was I saying?
You said
Yeah, so
tarp
I
2.
go Flint 1, tarp 2, maybe like the pillows and
That's what I'd say.
3. Someone chose the pillar. The world got those, right?
Yeah.
And George is like, oh, they're choosing comfort items to sit in the jungle all day. Like, made fun of it. I'm like, George.
I almost think that that's
Calm
just
down.
the. I almost think that that's just George would say that about anything, being George.
It's. I love George. He's just so snarky sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I told you that I think about George?
Say it again.
That if George was not a reality star, George would be trying to make Australia great again.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd go that far, but man, he's entertaining, and he's very high on himself. And, like, his whole persona, I don't know how much of that is him versus, like, the TV version of him.
Okay.
But, man, it's entertaining, and I love him. And I hope this isn't the last season he's on.
I hope not. Hopefully they realize how good this is and do a, like, 20-player Australia versus USA in sometime in the 50s in America. Well, not in America, but on CBS.
They could do it in America. When we did our locations episode, one of my 3 locations I wanted to see was Hawaii. That would be in America.
That would be in America, but we all know that Jeff Probst is doing it in Fiji.
Yeah, well, I want to see Morocco, and I want to see Hawaii, and I want to see a cold weather season. So,
fair enough.
One of those. The cold weather one is definitely my hot take of those 3, and may or may not be a logistical nightmare, but I want to see it.
That is definitely a hot take. As someone who lives in cold weather, I don't really want to see it.
I hate cold weather. I wouldn't want to play on that season, but I'll watch it. Just watch everyone in coats instead of swimsuits.
Fair.
Somewhere in the British Columbian wilderness. You told me that should be filmed.
That is what I told you.
But no.
I'd go for comfort items third. I'd go for the fruit basket fourth.
I forgot about that. Food's always a good option.
Especially because even though food will go bad, you can just eat a ton of it right before your first immunity challenge, which is the next day, and then have a big advantage over the other tribe.
Yeah.
Fifth, I'm going champagne. This might be controversial because I know more people I think would take the coffee items that would last longer. My thing is that I don't think a caffeine high when you don't have any nourishment is a great mix.
Yeah.
Sixth, I'd go for the coffee. Seventh, I'd go for the mystery box.
I'm just scared of the mystery box because not knowing what it, again, if it's an individual like Idol Clue or Idol or Advantage, I don't want someone else on my tribe to unlock that and get that without me knowing about it.
That is exactly it.
I just assume if I can't have it, no one on my tribe gets it.
Correct.
So, yeah, sorry to the people on my tribe, but no mystery box if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah, I agree. So we see the rewards divvied out. We go back to camp. We get a confessional from Parvati saying the Australians think they know how to play Survivor in an Australian accent, which was hilarious. And then we see the players introducing themselves to each other on both beaches. I mean, the Australian tribe pretty much already knows each other. The American, the world tribe was hilarious when they're doing introductions and Suri is like, my name's Suri and I'm from the US, and everyone's sitting there going like, we know. And then Tony says, my name's Tony and I'm also from America, and it's like, he introduces himself to Suri and it's like, you guys live 2 minutes down the freeway from each other.
Yeah.
Tony's in northern New Jersey and Suri is in the Jersey suburbs of Manhattan, I think.
We'll get to this in a little bit, but man, that first episode started with like, there's 3 Americans on this tribe of 7. If we don't look out for each other, they're going to come after us.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. And I was excited to see the 3 of them work together. And that strategy that seems pretty smart has just been abandoned already, and I'm sad. Because I don't want to see them go after each other, or I don't want to see any of the Americans go early.
And we'll get to that a little later. But we got to talk about the first, after the world loses their first immunity, we have really our first tribal council. We have that. One thought of that strategy, but at the same time, how much does it benefit you if the numbers are in your favor? The good news for the Americans, if they go with that strategy, is Lisa playing with Suri would be like you playing with Amanda or me playing with Michelle.
Yeah.
So
if you're the Americans, you have your 4th and you're set. You have majority.
You are set. Exactly.
So that's the road that I would have gone, but we'll get to that as that kind of break. But I bring
But
this up to say,
what I
as we're in episode 1 and I saw the three of them like, hey, we're going to look out for each other, I got really excited to see that.
Yeah, so did I. But what I really want to talk about is Lisa's decision here to work with Suri. And I think this is brilliant from Lisa's perspective. I mean, Suri is probably still a big threat to win, but do you think realistically many of these international players want to see an international season where either Tony or Perv win? No.
Yeah.
So I think this is absolutely brilliant because if I'm Lisa, I'm sitting there going, there's a good chance that I could work with all three Americans. They will know that Suri will beat them, so all three of us will take her out at 4. And then I'm in the final 3, maybe the final 2. I don't quite know how this season is going to work with it being a totally different format. Against 2 players that nobody really wants to see win again with a whole jury of Australians.
Yeah.
And Lisa, being a New Zealander, understands how to speak to Australians far better than Parvati Tony.
Yeah.
So I think that this is one of the best strategic moves we've seen this season. Maybe
I think
the
it is
best.
too. I've been on record as saying if I was on the same tribe with Suri in Survivor 50, she's my first target immediately.
Yeah.
I actually do like Lisa's move here, like with Australia versus the world, because it's a different setting, because
Yeah.
there is that slight cultural difference. You have people, like you said, you're on a tribe with 2 Mount Rushmore figures that people don't want to see win again. And so I do think aligning with Suri there is a great choice by Lisa for this. I think you cut her at some point. You don't let her get deep into the game. But
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't feel the need
but I mean,
to go
I
after
think
her
if you're
immediately like I would if it was an American season.
I think if you're Lisa, you don't. Let's say hypothetically that the Americans stick together. I think if you stick with them, you can take Suri all the way to 4.
If Suri gets close to the end, she wins.
Yeah, but is Suri going to win a final immunity against either Lisa, Parv, or Tony? No.
But you don't have to win final immunity to make it there. You can be brought along. Parvati would absolutely bring Suri to the end, I think.
Oh, there's no way. Parvati wants to win.
True.
Parvati's a cutthroat player. She knows she can't beat Suri.
I would be really nervous letting Suri get anywhere near the end. I'm cutting her at like 7, 8, maybe.
To me, I'm looking at saying Suri's probably easier to beat in a final challenge. I mean, there's a good chance we're going to have a final 2 this season with how few players there are.
I'm not worried about the final immunity. I'm worried about final tribal if...
I know, I'm just saying I don't think she can get there under any circumstances.
I'm just not giving her the opportunity.
Fair.
But I'm also the person who, like, when everyone's thrilled that she's on 50, saying if I'm on the same tribe as her on 50, I'm going after her.
Yeah.
I don't trust letting Suri get.
Whereas I made the case that if you're, whereas I made the case that if you're Dio Genevieve, she's a perfect ally because she takes the threat level off of you.
And Kyle.
Yeah, and Kyle.
But absolutely. Again, I said that with 50. It being in a different country's arena, I don't think you need to target Suri immediately, but I'm not letting her get to final 3 or final 4.
That's fair.
Like 5, 6, maybe 7 or 8 if I'm being aggressive. It just depends on where the tribe numbers are. If it's closer, yeah, keep her longer. If the world tribe has a huge numbers advantage, then you can afford to cut someone and still have numbers.
True. So, speaking of the vote, before we get into episode 2, Rob Bentendi from South Africa, very strong guy, seems to be a little too aggressive. Actually, way too aggressive.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody wants somebody that they don't have any pre-existing relationship with coming in and telling them, you're going to do this and follow me. Because it seemed like Rob expected Lisa and Cass and Tommy to play Rob's game instead of playing their own game.
Yeah.
And while it makes sense if you're in no position to say Poverty's a huge threat, we should target her, if you feel like Rob is just going to take over and tell everybody what to do, then Rob's got to go. And that is exactly what happened. He should have just stated his case and looked at what the tribe wanted to do.
Also, backing up a little bit, speaking of Rob, what is Parvati thinking telling Rob, hey, me and David did another show together and worked together really well?
Parvati
I
saw
would be
that
keeping that top secret if I was out there.
That's a fair point, but I do understand Parvati's strategy here. Parvati saw that when they went at the challenge, and she pointed this out in the episode, up the steps, that David and Rob were in her tribe negotiating.
Yeah.
So she told Rob, I know you and David are working together. I have a cross-tribal alliance with David too. So that she could try to get Rob's number in this vote, that maybe Rob would work with her and Tony and Suri.
Yeah.
And in that case, I'm looking at maybe Parvati's hoping that somebody like Tommy is the first boot.
And see, that makes sense, but still, like, and even Rob was like, see, she has this relationship with someone on the other tribe. They've played a whole show. I would not be telling anyone about that because I would, that puts a target on me. People know I have a good relationship with someone on the other tribe now.
Makes sense. The only thing I would question in my mind is at least in Parvati's perspective, and I don't know when the cast releases were and stuff, it's kind of hard to know exactly, but unless we went back, I'm sure I could look it up online. But is it better for Parvati to get that out in the air than it is for Tony to potentially bring it up?
Does he know about it?
He might. That's what I'm saying. I'd have to look up precisely what day did they leave for AU and what day was the cast released by NBC for Dondi. But I think there's a good chance that the Americans know that Parvati has done this game.
Yeah.
And therefore, if something is aired in week 1 and now everybody knows, it's a lot less of a ticking time bomb for Perv than having, say, Tony bring it up at Final 6. Hey guys, there's 6 of us. One's Parvati, one's David, and did you know that they have a previously existing relationship from another show? Boom.
Yeah, Tony would do that though.
Yeah. Well, let's get into episode 2. Well, this is episode 3, but I mean, we can kind of mix up episodes in between because I see it as all one big episode.
Yeah.
Look at what Tony said about the girls are working together against me, and all I need to do is find a monkey wrench. That is Tony's monkey wrench.
Yeah, and since you mentioned it, the girls are working together against Tony. And me being excited to see the Americans protect each other and work together and see all 3 of them do pretty well. I am now scared that that's not going to happen. 2 of them seem to have decided to abandon one of them. And so.
See, in contrast, I'm very excited about this because I was worried for your. Knowing what I know about my own country, I was worried for your first overall pick being Cass because of the language difference between Survivor Quebec and all the other Survivor shows that we have, and whether her English would be strong enough to fit into the tribe in a social game, whereas we've seen so many non-English players struggle in, say, the challenge. But watching Cass and Parvati work together, and I'm seeing Parvati align with a Canadian citizen, I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I love seeing Cass get integrated. I just don't like that Tony's who we're all going after now.
Fair. Well,
and I'm not even like a huge Tony fan. I think the people that
they might go after Tommy
instead. But go for the other guy first. Leave Tony alone.
That's what I just said. They might.
What?
We don't know if we don't know if they'll go for Tony or not. They
Well,
might go for
with the mystery box, they certainly didn't seem to be keen on working with him at all.
that is true.
And then what's his name? Tommy was just not in the episode. It felt like.
Which means they could easily vote him off because he's not getting a good edit.
Where was he? Like this whole thing with the boxes happening.
I think looking for immunity idols.
I didn't see him once.
I think he was looking for idols.
Good Lord, he was doing it for a long time.
Because there was one point that Pavudi and Suri say was Tommy, and they're pointing like, oh, he's way down on the other side of the beach.
Yeah. Speaking of Cash, she finds an idol.
That she does, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Episode 2, any overall thoughts?
Oh, right. We're on episode 2, not 3. We're blending together too much.
I know. We can't help it because they all air together.
Yeah.
But
episode 2 was fun. I hated seeing David go home. The
yeah.
Aussie tribe is playing this game so fast, and I don't remember seeing a live tribal in Australian. Maybe I'm misremembering. But
I don't remember any of the seasons I've seen.
Do what?
I said I don't remember one in any of the seasons I've seen.
But that tribal was live, and it's as live as I've seen any tribal council. That was just insane.
And they have moved back and forth so often.
Yeah.
I almost wonder how this game would be different. If, let's say, I'm just going to offer a hypothetical, and I know this is not happening because it was not in the preview at all, but the preview didn't say one Australian and one world member will be voted out tonight. It just said both tribes will go to tribal council. Imagine if there's a tribe swap and Tony gets put onto that Australian tribe. That would fit That would fit Tony so well.
Yeah. Tony and George on a tribe together would have been fantastic.
Oh, it would have been. I mean, I'm sitting there watching it going, either we're going to lose Puff and Shawnee ever playing together, or we're going to lose Tony and George ever playing together, and neither option was ideal.
No, and this episode 2 tribal, it ends up being between David and George. I'm like, I hate this. I love them both.
And that's what's so fun about this Australian tribe. It ends up being between David and George, but what? Almost everybody except for Sarah had their name thrown out.
Yeah. I don't think Kirby did.
Yeah, you're right. Kirby did not.
Because everyone thought she was on their side.
Yeah, exactly. She's playing the best game so far of the season.
Yeah.
I'm just going to throw that out right there. I think right now, we'll talk about our power rankings at the end.
But watching David go and then watching George go, I'm getting winners at war flashbacks where, like, the fandom's, like, biggest favorites all went earlier, went pre-merge.
Yeah. But unlike winners at war, Pavudi is still in the game.
Yeah. But even
and Tony is still in the game.
Her and Sandra went home the same episode. That's got to be one of the most disappointing episodes ever.
And Boston Rob went home 1 week before.
Yeah.
And then the week after, Rob went home, Perv and Sandra went home, and then all of us had to stay at home.
Well.
That was a horrible 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, we've got the horrible boot order. Let's hope that, like, plague doesn't follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Though, I mean, I think George is a little more divisive than those three.
Yeah.
I love watching him, but I don't think he's universally loved by the fan base.
Well, Rob and Sandra and Parv are none of them universally loved. Everyone has people that don't like. Rob's pretty divisive, actually.
Maybe
there's a lot of people that don't like him.
That's fair. New school fans.
There's just people that don't like the way he plays, I guess. Or that think he's overrated as a player because it took till his 4th time to win.
Yeah.
It's a dumb argument, but...
It's a dumb argument. But either way, The Australians lose their first immunity challenge, so we're going to get equal. And then we're just seeing names thrown out left, right, and center. It's 1 minute it's Shawnee, it's 1 minute it's George, it's 1 minute it's David, it's back to George, it's back to David. And we see some mistakes here.
Yeah.
Notably with George and how he handles his alliance with Kirby.
Uh-huh.
But when we get to Tribal Council, it is a tight vote where George votes for Janine, and then it's 3 votes for George, votes for David. I think the really big thing about this vote is that Sarah, who's very close friends with David and who's worked with David in her professional career, has decided to vote for David in order to prove her trust to the 2 other women in her alliance, Shawnee and Kirby.
Nice. Yeah, that was smart.
And I think at the end, they kind of all regret it starting the next episode where Shawnee and Sarah both wish they would have switched their vote to George.
Yeah.
But that's a perfect way to get into the next episode. We get back to camp. Everyone's talking about Tribal after a tie that leads to David being voted out on a revote, but nothing changed. It was just the 1 vote for David and 1 vote for Janine and 1 vote for George didn't count anymore because it was David's vote and George's vote that don't vote, and that was enough to break the tie. But we have the 3 girls saying, okay, our alliance worked out, but maybe they want to reevaluate where their targets are actually lying and who they're working with.
I will point out Luke at Tribal Council also, because George says to Luke, what name are we writing down?
Yeah.
And Luke tells him Janine, and George votes for Janine and is then the only vote for her. So yep. Luke kind of puts himself in hot water with George there.
That he does.
In a terrible way.
And then we get over to the World Tribe where the mystery box that Rob Bentendi took with the first overall selection, despite you and I saying it would be the last reward we'd pick, is into play as there's a mad hunt for a key.
This is wild.
And we see everybody pretty much walk past the key before inevitably, who finds the key but Parvati? The greatest of all time.
I was happy to see that for sure. I just wish she was working with Tony and Suri.
Well, she is working with Suri.
Yes, but it's Tony and Suri instead of Suri and the others.
Fair enough.
But I was happy it's her. I want her to do well more than anything else.
So yeah, Perv has the key, but it's a little controversy when it comes back to trying to open the box because Parvati and Suri and Cass all know, but they don't want to share that information with the rest of the tribe.
Being Tony, because Tommy is MIA.
Yeah. Tommy is about to have the World Tribe have to go to a challenge, and they're going to be calling out for Tommy like he's GC on Gabon.
Nice reference.
That was just so funny.
As soon as you said leaving for a challenge, I knew that's the reference you were making. It's so funny to hear. But
so, personally, I got to ask you a question here. Do you think that Tony knows that Parvati has it?
No.
See, I think she does. I think he does. There is no way in my mind that lock can be dangling opened and a police officer of 25 years experience isn't going to see it.
I wouldn't have seen it. It was behind her legs. I'm also super unobservant, though. So
fair. Whereas Tony's a cop.
Was a cop. I think he's retired.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anyway, he has all the training of identifying those things. I'm pretty sure he knows. We'll see next episode, but
I
that's going
feel
to be
like
fun.
if he knew, we would have got a confessional of him telling us he knows.
I think that might be one of those flashback scenes like we get sometimes in American Survivor from last episode, right before a big mad dash for Adam Klein's idol.
Like with Nasir in 41, when he says the fun phrase, and we had no idea he even had the thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm expecting to come from this.
I'm as confused as a goat on AstroTurf, man.
We're both making amazing references today.
For those that may have forgotten, that was the phrase Nasir had to say back when the Bewares were you had to say random phrases before a challenge.
Now, how can I fit Mike Turner talking about the beautiful game into this podcast?
Do they actually call it the beautiful game?
That's the nickname from FIFA, yes.
That is so pretentious. Oh my gosh. For some reason I'm just now realizing that's actually what like soccer calls itself. That is
ridiculous. Yeah, it
is.
Because it is the beautiful game. And it's called football.
No. Well,
it might be next year. If the United States changes the name, you're going to have to start calling it football.
I'll call it football when other country. No, I'm not going to make that joke. I'm not going to upset people. I'll tell you the joke I was going to make there after we stop recording.
Tell me after.
I feel like you know what it was, though, because it involves a certain body of water.
I was just going to say, I think I know what this is going.
But anyway, yeah, soccer calling itself the beautiful game is so pretentious, but kind of funny.
Yeah, fair enough. This is not about the beautiful game of soccer. This is about Survivor. Back to the episode.
Oh, yeah, that.
So the lock is dangling. It's opened, but they cannot get it to lock. I found this great because here's the thing. Eventually, Suri says smartly, we have to put the key in it, and she gets it back locked. I anticipated that there would be some mechanism built into that once you open it, it would break.
I've never seen a lock where you have to put the key back into it to get it to lock. Any
I know
combination lock I've seen, you just push it closed.
Right. But I'm saying I thought that once you open it, it would not lock again, and therefore you have identified to the tribe that somebody has the whatever is inside.
Yeah.
In contrast, the fact that you can lock it, here's what Puff can do now. Find a time where nobody is there, which she did. She gets the advantage. She finds out that this is a clue to a hidden immunity idol, which is the Adam Klein idol. It's hidden at the bottom of Jonathan's podium. Yes, just like I'll never lose that line about giving individual immunity to Natalie. We are back making fun of other players. Adam will never be able to give up.
To be fair, Australian has done this before.
South African
at war. That's where Adam got the idea.
It was South African Survivor, I think.
I've watched a season of Australia where they did it too, though.
Oh, okay.
But Adam got the idea from another survivor.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's as crazy as I did at the time.
No, he's not. I thought it was smart. But still, it was hilarious for the U.S. audience. When Jeff is just literally destroying him, going, Adam, you want to play the thing on the podium that he doesn't actually remove from the podium.
I'm going to be honest, I wasn't rooting for Adam because he tended to be going for people I liked, but I was hoping that Probst, even if it wasn't meant to be, Probst would say it was an idol, just for the shock factor of having a podium idol.
That would have been great. So Puff gets the clue. Now, my question is, she can lock it. But if she can lock it, she can then re-hide the key.
Yeah.
And therefore, other people could theoretically find it and think that they're the one who found it.
Or she can use it to put some of her coffee stuff in the box so other people can't get it. Because we saw her reference coffee about 5 times this episode.
And we did. And we also see Luke stealing food. So maybe that's a way somebody on the World Tribe can do that.
And we did see that Tony doesn't know what a French press is. Which is kind of funny.
And all that happened to me when Tony and Parvati had that discussion was thanks to the two of them, I got the manuscript from TTPD stuck in my head for about the next half hour.
Nice. Coffee tastes yucky is what I was thinking during that scene. But, because coffee's gross. But,
I would agree with you on that one.
The box is... She can do a lot with that. I'm not mystified, but I've never seen a lock where you have to use the key to lock it back up. Any padlock I've ever seen, you just push it closed.
But either way, we go to immunity.
Yeah.
And it's the challenge where you have to hold a bag each of weight and you can pass it off. I had to laugh so hard when Jonathan said, George has done this before, and I think a couple other people, and then he goes, Parvati, you've done a variation of this challenge. No, Jonathan, American Survivor has done this challenge.
Well, he was referencing something else, though.
I know, that's my point. I'm saying this challenge is not solely an international challenge. This exact challenge has been used in the United States game.
Yeah, but when he was saying Parvati's done it, he was referencing the hand with the water.
No, I know that. I'm just saying I don't really think that that's a variation of this challenge at all. But this is a challenge that they've used in the CBS show.
I agree with you, but I see where he's coming from because it's the same holding your hand up and keeping a thing of water. The weight is the only difference, honestly. So I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
I forgot America's done this specific one though.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking is that I'm if there's no advantage necessarily for the Australian players because American Survivor players have seen this challenge be done. They know how it works.
I see why he would compare it to the Parvati Ethan T-Bird challenge with the hand in the water bucket. It's the same thing. You just add weight.
I like how you say the Parvati Ethan T-Bird challenge and totally ignore the one that Tony cheated on.
I forgot they did it in Winners at War, honestly.
They did it in Winners at War.
T-Bird won that challenge. I should have said
Jeff laid out a bunch of rules in Winners at War to make it shorter, and Tony didn't follow them, and Michelle came second. So
that's why you're upset about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Michelle didn't win. That makes sense now. But I don't know why I said Ethan. I should have said T-Bird, and then Sheehan won it in All-Stars.
That she did.
Because she was going home and had one of the biggest immunity celebrations I've seen.
And Rupert has a tendency, be it All-Stars or Winners at War, or not Winners at War with Rupert. What am I saying? All-Stars or Heroes versus Villains to be the Arsenal Football Club of this challenge and come second.
I thought Arsenal won last season.
No, Liverpool won last season.
Oh, sorry. I had Liverpool. I had them confused in my head.
I thought you would laugh at the fact that I'm making fun of a certain owner's football club.
I'm always down for bashing Stan Kroenke. I had Arsenal and Liverpool confused in my head. You said Arsenal. My mind went to red and a picture of a bird. And your team.
That's my team. Arsenal is red.
The word I was looking for was Liverpool.
Arsenal is red and a picture of a cannon.
Yeah. But no, I just had the two confused. English soccer teams, they're all the same thing. Not really.
No, not really at all.
I just wanted to see what you'd say if I did that.
That would be like me saying that the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills are the same thing.
Now, one team actually wins in the playoffs.
You're not wrong.
I'm never wrong. But yeah, so to me, the star of the immunity challenge, though, was not Jonathan and was not Parvati. It was George, who just would not shut up.
Yeah, that was great. And especially George trying to make info and strategize with Tony. That is how bad I wish that we would have seen them play.
At one point, like, what the hell is George during this challenge? Because he's sitting there, like, breaking down the previous tribal council, like, every vote. And I'm like, why are you doing this? This is like, nobody does this. You're not supposed to want the other team to know how the vote went. Like, even Janine's like, George, why are you giving away tribe secrets?
Because George coming back is JT.
Yeah, Luke lied to his face and got caught, and now George is just going to burn everything down.
Yeah.
But, and then George is talking to Parvati at one point. I forget what he said. He just will not shut up, and everything he was saying was entertaining me.
Yeah, that was funny.
He doesn't have a ton of self-awareness sometimes, but he's always entertaining. Get George on the challenge.
I don't know how it would work, but it would be hilarious.
He's not like super physical the way some of these people are, but the challenge has some people that are worse at physical challenge than George. The challenge has had
spoiler alert, like he's not years. Like so. Spoiler alert, he's not super physical like Gabe was tonight.
Yeah. I mean, I like this person, but I think George could hold his own in an elimination with, say, Derek Chavez or someone like that. So.
That would be fun to watch.
Also, George and Johnny Bananas in the same house. There's no way they wouldn't have some sort of interaction.
Oh, yeah, obviously. That would be great.
I just need more of him on my television. I don't really care what show it is. American Survivor, The Challenge.
He did the Australian version of the race.
I know. I want him to do Our Amazing Race.
That would be good.
Even Big Brother. Get him in the Big Brother house.
Yeah.
Where he just has a whole summer to light the thing on fire. But, yeah, George is fantastic. He's so entertaining. But, yeah, so the world wins immunity again. Because Australia at some point ends up with Luke holding almost everyone's weight.
Yeah.
But.
And yet the world does win immunity again. And that leads us back to Tribal Council, where I think at this point it's pretty inevitable. There's some talk about Shawnee, but ultimately it's the alliance that broke apart in Heroes versus Villains breaking up, finally having its moment now.
Yeah, for sure.
And by a vote of, what was it, 4-2?
Yeah.
Shawnee survives and King George is eliminated. We've seen the Golden God go home from the Australian tribe. We've seen the King go home. Now it's time for someone new to rise.
Well, we've seen there's two kings because Luke is the king of the jungle. So we saw King George go home.
That's fair.
King George of Bankstown. But yeah, this was a really fun first week. I hate the Rob. I really haven't seen, so I don't care about. But
yeah, it was really fun. I'm really enjoying this season. It does, but I mean, while it would have been nice to see the two of them stay and maybe lose a couple of other players, like lose, say, Janine and Tommy, that I think people know less about, You can't go wrong with any voting out or keeping anyone on this season for entertainment purposes. It is just stacked top to bottom.
Yeah. So
So I want to get into power rankings.
sure.
And let's do a little bit of a twist on this since it's international, as I know I brought up to you. While we go through our power rankings, we're going to do kind of like the EW interviews we talk about, since we're mostly an American Survivor show, and say who so far we're seeing from each player from the American game. Notably
Yeah.
for the international players, the three American players play like themselves. That's blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
So who's at the top of your power ranking?
Um, you said Kirby. I gotta agree with that. Like everyone is wanting to work with, and we didn't touch on this. The Kirby Sarah relationship, I think, is really cool, where they're kind of each other's ride or die. Shawnee
Yeah,
decided to make that a trio, and like Kirby has the awareness to realize, oh, I need to make sure Sarah still knows she's my number one.
yeah,
So
yeah. I'd say Kobe is number one for me. Any name that come to mind of where you think her game resembles in the U.S. game? I know I have one.
real quick, the George vote was a 3-2 to 1 vote
Oh, that's right.
because George voted for Luke.
Yeah,
So he could have forced a tie if he had like been paying attention.
that would have been really interesting. George effed up his vote 2 weeks in a row.
What also we didn't touch on him like not only thinking he has power, which is a self-awareness issue, but going the extra step to I want so much revenge, I want to force them to vote for each other.
Yeah,
What are we doing there? That was so unnecessary.
yeah,
There was no need to tell them you have to vote for each other.
that's for sure.
But yeah, Kirby's my number one. She's doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the player that I'm most getting from Kobe's game so far from the US game is Kim. Someone that everyone on her season wanted to work with.
I could kind of see that. I don't know if I'm not ready to say Kim because Kim's one of the most dominant players ever.
Yeah, but we're just talking about a couple of episodes.
Yeah, that's why I'm not ready to quite say that yet. But yeah, Kirby's been awesome. Who do you have in the second spot?
Parvati.
Solid.
She's got 20 confessionals so far. She comes in with a huge target and has really managed to just get that off her with ease. She knows where the one advantage is, and seems to have a group that's just a solid four within her own tribe. She's in a great spot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cass
Nice.
because Cass is in the same alliance with Parvati, is on the right side of the numbers. I believe was there when Parvati told them where the idol is at Tribal,
Yeah,
but also has her own idol that we forgot to touch on.
true. That is true. Cassidy was skirmishing through the bushes and found an idol just off right near the water.
Yeah. So who do you have at 3?
Cass,
Nice.
what about you? And I mean, you said what I was pretty much thinking there.
I love Parvati, but I'm gonna go Sarah here at 3. I think she's playing really smart,
Nice.
and she hasn't been on the island in forever. They made a point to point out, so like she doesn't have the target that some of these more recent people who have played a lot of seasons have.
Yeah.
And she's really tight with Kirby, and they seem to be a ride or die pair. So
Yeah, absolutely. I would put Sarah in as my fourth spot. Same kind of thing. The her alliance seems to be very strong, and she doesn't seem at least to be as threatening. I think that's probably a good thing for Sarah that she kept that alliance with Kobe and decided to vote David out, because if she was in a pair with David, she'd be much more seen as a threat that needs to go.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Who's your for?
Poverty, for all the reasons you
Okay.
said earlier.
So we're all, our top four, we're all in agreement one way or the next.
Yeah,
It's just a question of where everybody is from there.
yeah. So who do you have at 5?
At 5, I have Lisa.
Oh, me too.
Oh, perfect. I really like Lisa's moves so far. I think she's playing a great social game. And I think that she can really, I mean, with this cast, even though she's a winner, the fact that Survivor New Zealand isn't on anymore, she can really play all the Americans as meat shields here.
Yeah. By the way, um, how did our draft teams do through these first 3 episodes?
I have to go and look at that.
Okay, that's why I was
I'm
wondering about the list this afternoon, so we could
yeah,
reference.
I'm gonna send it to you tomorrow. Well,
Okay.
tonight for tomorrow, so that way we'll post it as a social media graphic.
Yeah, we'll try to reference it on the show for you guys going forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lisa's doing great. Gets to play with Suri, who's one of her
I
favorite players.
I
So.
can tell you one thing is I know that I had Rob, and I think you took David right after I took Perf.
Oh, well.
So I mean we're probably pretty equal.
Yeah.
I have to see who drafted King George.
King George of Bankstown. We need
Because
him to come back sometime.
I know he went later. Although, fun fact, just looking at the cast articles that I have here to do my rankings, King George of Bankstown is not listed as from Bankstown, Australia in this season, unlike his previous seasons. He is now from Sydney.
That's what Wikipedia says.
Yeah.
Wikipedia also has Suri being from Connecticut, though.
I think that's where she is now.
I thought you said she was New Jersey.
She's born in New Jersey, but they're all the same kind of area. She's a New Jersey native.
Oh.
Might have messed it up earlier. Either way, for my number 6, I'm going to go with Luke here.
Okay.
Luke is a very good physical player. He found that idol on the Australian tribe, I believe. So he seems to be in a good spot. And even though he's had his name thrown around a bit, the only time he's got votes was from George when he wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah. And Luke made one dumb mistake, and the person that he burned on that is gone. So,
yeah.
Luke is a really solid choice. I'm going to go with Shawnee here because, yes, she's been targeted, but she's with the numbers on her tribe right now. So,
yeah. That is fair. Yeah, absolutely. She's with the numbers. I like that. So that's 6. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 left. I am going to go with my 7th, Wisui.
Nice.
I think she definitely has the numbers, whether she works with the Americans or with the women. She's got a lot of options, though she's a bigger threat, which is why I didn't put her higher. And I don't think she's playing as good of a game as Perth.
Yeah. I would agree. So, and by the way, I just had a thought because Sari is widely known as the fan base, not me, but most people, as the best player to never win.
I mean, Jonathan called that out right in the introduction.
Yeah. Jonathan said it as kind of like that's a fact. She's the best to never win, which I don't need to dispute again. Our audience knows how I feel. George is in that conversation, absolutely, though.
Is he?
I mean, look at heroes versus villains. The target he had on him from the beginning and how deep he went.
I feel it's
Even
a
on his
totally
first
different
season,
conversation.
he was also really good his first season.
I feel it's a totally different conversation outside of the American show.
I think just a work. If you're making a group of across America and Australia, the best players to not win, George would be there. If you're just talking
Okay.
Australia, I feel like he's the choice.
Yeah, I would definitely say he is amongst Australian players. I just don't know how easy it is to compare 48 seasons of US Survivor versus 7 seasons of
Yeah.
Australian Survivor, especially seeing how, from the limited amount of international Survivor I've watched, how different the game really is
Yeah.
compared to. I mean, we think the US is twist heavy in the new era, but it's got nothing on the Australian game.
No. But I mean, just Australia, George is the best player to never win.
Yeah,
I don't even know
no,
who else I'd put in the conversation, to be honest.
Shawnee would be second.
Shawnee is, she slipped my mind, but I would put
Yeah,
George up there with some of the best that America has to offer as far as like level of skill.
that makes sense. I agree.
So what number are we at?
We are at 8.
Okay, so let me look at who I haven't said yet.
Well, it's my pick.
Okay.
I am gonna go in 8th with Shawnee.
Okay.
I think she's been gotten some votes, so I put her a bit lower. I don't think Shawnee's going anywhere. I think she's very confident in her alliance, but she also is a big threat within the Aussie tribe now that David and George have had their fire snuffed. And if you get rid of David and you get rid of George, Shawnee is that next player that you're going, whoa, I'm on a tribe with her.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Luke here. Luke and Janine are both on the outs with their tribe.
Yeah.
I think if Australia goes to the next two tribals, they'll be the next two gone. But Luke's a
Yeah.
better physical player, so I think they'll take Janine out first, hoping Luke can help them in immunity challenges.
And then it all hell breaks loose if Luke plays an idol.
Yeah.
That would be fun to see.
Yeah.
In 9th, I'm going to go with Janine.
Okay.
I think she's in the bottom of the Aussie tribe, and if they lose the next challenge, I think she'll be the one to go. I'm just not sure how the bottom two in my mind stack up for the US tribe. Oh, sorry, the US tribe, the world tribe.
Yeah.
But knowing what we know from the preview, I think Janine is in a lot of trouble this week.
Yeah, I'd
She
agree.
needs that immunity necklace.
And she's my
Or
next
she
one.
needs Luke to get the immunity necklace and play an idol for her. Which is possible.
Yeah, she's my next one. Her and Luke are both at the bottom of this tribe. So they're the next two to go off the Aussie tribe. I just think Luke's physicality gives him an edge over her. I think she's in trouble.
Yeah. My 10th, I'm going to put Tony here. I don't feel great about Tony. I think Tony's probably the biggest risk to get voted out of anyone left in the game. The one thing that I feel confident, a little more confident about Tony than I do Tommy, is that I think Tony is the type who can hold in any information, and if I'm right about that box, he could totally blow up Pavuti's game or Sui's game or anyone's game because he's Tony and he does crazy things when he's playing Survivor. And it's not beyond Tony to, I don't know, climb a tree or dig a spy nest or something that could get him information that he needs to walk into tribal and burn the place down.
Blowing them up on the box, I don't feel like would be like that crazy though. If he finds out about it and that realizes they're clearly purposely leaving him out, why wouldn't you blow that up? They're working against you. That
Of
makes
course
total
you
sense.
of course you would. My point is that he could do something, anything that could possibly make people decide maybe they don't want to work with them.
Yeah, which is hard because I like Parvati. She's my favorite on the season, but I like Tony a little bit too. I don't like that they're kind of setting this up to go against each other. I like
Yeah.
the idea of them working together.
And I mean, who knows if that'll happen because I don't think we're that far away from a merge. Even though we just feel like we just started, it is a 15-day game.
Yeah, and we're down to 11 already. So,
Yeah. So I think here's my take. They've told us that both tribes go to tribal council. I think they vote out two more and we have a merge.
yeah,
And we'll get a merge next Monday.
that'd be cool.
So that it's 5 people going, 9 people left, 7 make up the jury, and a final 2.
Yeah. So we've got 2 left now.
Yeah. I've said that my last ones is Tony in 10th and Tommy in 11th. I'll just go into Tommy for a second. We don't know where he even is. So
I'm going to agree. Tony's in 10th, Tommy's in 11th. I don't know Tommy's game very well. He's good enough to be here, but at the same time, he wasn't at camp at all, and I don't think we heard him say a single word in episode 3. So if he was going very deep, they'd make a point to show us some things from his perspective and show us what he's doing.
yeah, exactly. And I'm also wondering, I don't know, but like we're seeing more of Cass than we are of Tommy. I don't know if that's just how Cass is playing a better game, or if maybe Tommy is what I was worried as a Canadian about for Cass. I think maybe Tommy might be the one struggling with the language.
Yeah.
And Finnish is totally different than English, whereas French is kind of enough to get by.
She seems to be speaking pretty good English.
Oh yeah, she is. I've never watched her. I've never watched her play Survivor. I've watched a little bit of Survivor Quebec, but keep in mind, and that's what I didn't know, Survivor Quebec is a fluently French show.
Oh.
So therefore, I didn't know how well it would translate over for Survivor Quebec to be playing in an English season. But for Cass, it's working fine. I mean, she's become friends with 2 of the biggest known female Survivor players ever.
Yeah.
If not the 2 most well-known female Survivor players ever. I mean,
yeah.
I would say Sandra is probably in the top 2 with Puff, but
yeah.
I know there's people out there who would say Sumi.
No, it's Sandra for sure.
Yeah. There's just, it's the internet. Somebody has every opinion possible. There's somebody out there who thinks that, like, GC and Zane Knight and Wendy Joe are great Survivor players that need to come back.
I did put Zane on one of my second chance casts we did.
There you go.
I don't care that he was a first boot. That guy was so entertaining.
He was.
It's so meta. Like, as a strategy, I'm going to tell people I want to quit because the people that are really with me are going to tell me they want me to stay. That's how I'll know. Like, the logic tracks, but doofus. People are just going to let you quit. It's one less person in front of them.
Exactly.
This was a fun episode.
This was a fun episode. Align blindside first boot?
Sure.
Let's get into... I'm going to give you the names of 3 Aussie players that I know you've watched that are not on this season. Did you watch Australian Survivor with Sandra on it or no?
I started to and then fell off partway through.
All right, so I'm going to skip that season. I'm just going to go to 2 seasons that I know you've watched. Just 1 second. I'm just pulling up the cast list so I can make sure I don't give you players that were on a different season.
While you're looking that up, I found an interesting fact this week about Australian Survivor.
Yeah,
When Russell Hantz went out there, they paid him to wear the fedora. He didn't want to wear the fedora because it looks menacing and threatening. They
that was
paid him
great.
extra to wear the fedora. I think I sent you the video where he said that, but
You did.
I'm like, really?
Okay, so your options are you want to know what just happened? Spencer's calling.
Oh, Lord.
That's
It's
going
like
to
when
become
you're
a.
recording, it sends up a bat signal.
Seriously. So I'm gonna give you all players that were from Heroes versus Villains. I know you've watched that season. So your options are Liz Parnoff, the
Ooh,
winner. Haley Leake, I think your favorite Australian player,
yep.
and Flick Palmater.
And Flick and Haley and George were all on the same first season together.
They were.
Hmm. Haley's the only winner here, and I think she's for sure the best player. She even broke the winner curse that Australia apparently had when she came back. But I'm gonna first boot her.
Okay.
I'm gonna blindside. No, Liz won. Why am I calling Haley
Liz won.
the winner?
Yeah.
I forgot. I still think Haley's a better player, but
Yeah. I'd agree.
I'm gonna first boot Liz, blindside Haley, and align with Flick because Haley proved in their first season you can go to the end with Flick and win.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on those three.
Nice. Okay. So I am going to give you some another three Australian Survivor players
Okay.
because I talked about him a lot this episode. You get King George of Bankstown, who even though you said he's not listed as Bankstown, that's his Instagram name.
That is his Instagram name, and that's what he's famous for. He was a government official in Bankstown.
What It's even funnier that he calls himself a king when he worked in government. I don't think I
Yeah.
knew that. You get George. We talked about him a little bit. You've seen as much of this player as I have. You got Sneaky Stevie, who Shawnee said in episode 3, I want to get George out, but I want to actually act on it. I don't want it to be like Stevie where, oh, Shawnee, I'm going to get you, and then he never does.
Yeah.
So you have George, you have Sneaky Stevie, who is just hilarious to me, and you get Australian Survivor legend Russell Hantz. And by legend, I
Okay.
mean went home at his first tribal. Haven't watched the season, but I'm pretty sure he went home wearing an idol around his neck that
Yes,
he
he
thought he
did.
didn't need.
I am going to align with Stevie.
Nice.
I am going to blindside Russell Hantz, and I'm going to first boot King George of Bankstown.
You're putting Russell on the jury. That sounds really fun to watch.
I know. It's never happened before.
But do you want him on the jury when you're the one that blindsided him?
Yeah, because I think he's going to do something crazy.
That guy's still bitter towards jurors
Here's
15
the
years
thing, though.
later
If
that
I'm
didn't vote
aligned,
for him. You want him
if
to
I
give you
if
your
I'm
vote when you
aligned,
just blindsided him?
if I'm aligned with Stevie, odds are Stevie blindsided him too.
Well, that thought didn't occur to me, but Russell in that case would absolutely be the most bitter juror ever. And if
I
it's a
know.
final three with you two, you and Stevie who blindsided him, Russell's gonna vote for Philip.
which is fine because Philip's not going to win Survivor. You just got to have good final three management.
I want to see Russell as a juror now, though. That thought never crossed.
You know what we need? We need a whole season with two jurors, but they have to come to a unanimous consensus, like an actual jury, and the jurors are only Russell and Sandra.
I knew as soon as you said two jurors and it had to be unanimous, that's what you were going to say.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Oh. Having fun at Russell's expense never stops being fun.
Yep, that's true.
I would put him in that conversation of great players to never win, though.
Yeah,
He's
for sure.
definitely top 10, maybe top 5.
Oh, I think definitely top
I
5.
might even put him at third, honestly. Amanda, then Suri, then maybe Russell. People that don't like him they like to get on him and act like he just sucks at the game because he's bad at the social part. You don't finish second twice in a row. Finish second, then third by
My
sucking
top
at the
5
game.
is Sestonino, then Amanda, then Suli, then Russell, and then I have the 5th that's kind of like an open question.
I'm also like the one person that's not like this doesn't despise Russell or think he's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like I both like think he's entertaining and great TV, and also think he's kind of an arrogant a-hole sometimes.
Fair enough.
But what I'm doing here, I'm gonna align with Stevie, but I don't know if I can trust it to get me to the end. Because I haven't seen his first season, but on Heroes versus Villains, he kind of had this tunnel vision of wanting to get rid of Shawnee, and that's all he was.
He was a villain for a reason.
Yeah, I don't know how much. But of the options here, going with Steve, if I go to the end with George, I lose. If I go to the end with Russell, I'm going to wish I had been voted out. So I'm just going to have to ride with Stevie and trust it. But
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to first boot. Well, I was going to say first boot Russell. But the thing is, if I can plan to blindside George, but the longer you let him stay in, the more of a look at heroes versus villains. Look at brains versus. You can't plan to blindside him. Like he's kind of cockroachish, and that you just can't get rid of him after a while.
That's right.
You have to first boot him so he doesn't get footing, which means I'll leave Russell in long enough to blindside at the merge, and then just watch him be the most bitter juror ever and make Lex look like a friendly juror, probably.
Fair enough.
That was fun.
That was fun. So we'll be back. You put this up. It's going to be a new date and time for Aussie Survivor. We'll be posting this on Thursday just to get a couple of days lead before the new episodes start airing. So we'll post this tomorrow. I'll update everybody on the fantasy draft on Friday. And then we'll be watching new episodes, and we'll be right back here next week.
We will.
Grab your torches and head back to camp.
Grab your torches and head back to camp. Bye, everyone.
Bye.